How's everybody doing? Okay, so we discussed kind of deep in and decentralized AI in the last panel, and now we're going to look at it more from an investment point of view. So we've assembled really a very high-level group of VCs, all of whom are investing in AI, decentralized AI. So we have Martin Baumann, we have Paul V. I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and pronounce your name because it's a little bit complicated. We have GM, and we also have Ashkat here. So very good group. So we're going to also start with DeepSeek. So how does that kind of affect your sort of investment outlook, Martin? Take it away.
I think DeepSeek is an interesting one to have proven really that compute can become more efficient with regards to AI. I mean, if we compare DeepSeek's 2,000 GPUs that they required, the 800H versus OpenAI 16,000, that's a big step. And I think this could be a little bit akin to what we have seen in crypto, where we started very energy inefficient with proof-of-work networks, and we're seeing the whole evolution of crypto already going more and more towards proof-of-stake, and really thinking and caring about energy efficiency and compute. And DeepSeek really showed that there is a way forward in a more efficient way.
What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Martin said, I mean, the fact that it was also open source versus, OpenAI, Google, and some other competitors bodes well for, that's exactly what crypto is, right? Is really trying to have open source technologies, be able to have, contribution of resources from, all different types of players, being able to have a token that can incentivize that contribution, being able to sort of, show that open source can produce better outcomes, I think parlays really well into crypto being able to do the same thing. And then, of course, like being able to see companies like, whether it's XO, whether it's IONET, whether it's Akash, like guys that are focusing on decentralizing compute for AI. I think that bodes well that you can have more, commodity hardware being used, have people sort of contribute, have more decentralization of AI. From that perspective, I think it's beneficial for the ecosystem.
What about you, Jim? Do you see DeepSeek kind of affecting the investment outlook for decentralized AI?
Yeah, I think DeepSeek, obviously, like, in my mind, the most important thing is it really, in case it hasn't been clear before, really further solidified the thesis that models are getting increasingly commoditized, and inference are going to get so much cheaper that you can run these inferences on increasingly low requirements and like cheap and commoditized hardware, which is becoming more and more affordable. And so in that kind of world, if you were to assume models are going to get increasingly commoditized, long term, I think the competitive edge really comes from your cost structure to be able to actually service those inference at large scale at a advantageous cost. And so potentially, I think crypto has a unique edge in terms of servicing that large-scale inference cost.
So I think Barry Silbert, who's the founder of a digital currency group, he said recently that he thought that decentralized AI was a bigger opportunity than Bitcoin, and he was like one of the original investors in Bitcoin, so that was quite the statement. Would you agree with that, Ashkan?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I think overall, Bitcoin has one use case. Decentralized AI touches everything in the world. So I think I generally agree with that. I think the only thing I'd add to the question about DeepSeek is that I'm based here in Hong Kong, and there's a lot of deal flow that's been coming out of the greater Shenzhen area and China more broadly that I think previously was less attractive than it is now. And there's a bit of an arbitrage to play here, especially in spatial compute and robotics, as it kind of touches AI. So I think the Western markets have kind of missed that, and now there's going to be a reversion. Great.
All right, let's move on to AI agents, which is obviously another hot topic. Some people think that AI agents are sort of the future of crypto. And Martin, you were saying to me the other day on the phone that you thought that machine-to-machine commerce would be the main way in which we will see crypto being used. Just expand on that.
No, I agree that if we look 5 years into the future, and we have seen first iterations of really agents with agents interacting. There was one example on Twitter recently when AI agent ran a Twitter account and he required a certain marketing service and imagery, and he basically gave out a job saying, like, looking for someone creating that imagery. Another AI agent reached out. They came to agreement on a price, and so the one AI agent created those imagery, the other one paid in form of crypto, and that's really a first iteration. It gives you an idea of what might be happening in the future. And we all know how difficult it is to get bank accounts who work in crypto. AI agents will have zero chances of getting bank accounts. So probably they will use crypto rails in order to facilitate payments with each other. And they also will need identities, so deepen networks. That's where deepen networks come in. Companies like, or projects like Peak, who are really creating an infrastructure for this new machine-to-machine economy with identity and with settlement of value online between machines. And probably in 5 years from now, we might be looking back in history and realize that crypto was never made for humans.
So AI agents bullish for crypto, Paul?
Yeah, we're excited about AI agents. It's going to take a bit of time to get there. You know, we made 2 investments in crypto AI so far. One on the data ingestion and labeling side, Sahara, and then also one on the model side, as GM mentioned. I think there's a lot of opportunity to have more contribution, have ownership, have economics sort of tied to these models, and just create better outcomes. On the agent side of things, you know, one logical first type of agent is really around trading for crypto. So I was actually on a fireside chat early this week with Michael, the CEO of Amber, one of our portfolio companies, and I asked him, like, you know, how are you guys thinking about AI? And he was saying that he's actually incubating some things on the AI side, and he's imagining in 3 to 5 years that no one's going to be interacting with him, no one's going to be interacting with these Telegram chats or bots, really going to be interacting with your own AI agent, and these AI agents with their own sort of access to your crypto wallet, being able to continuing to be sort of trained by you, will be interacting with other people's AI agents, and therefore you sort of bring together like high frequency trading on a sort of retail level, and he can see like trading volume go up exponentially because of these AI agents that are just, you know, a lot smarter, make decisions really quickly, act on your behalf, be able to sort of be in and out of different types of products, being able to do DeFi. It's really the future of how financial services will be done.
So, I mean, do we see that AI agents are maybe the new sort of UX for crypto? Is that how we're going to interact with crypto in the future, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear to me that, obviously, you know, interacting with agents is going to be increasingly a dominant, you know, form of user interaction. But also another interesting, you know, intersection between, you know, crypto and AI agents in particular is there's also an angle of crypto, you know, really reinforcing and helping improve the safety and robustness for agents. And one classic example of this is Freysia. So basically, the idea is you have these AI agents that basically holds a price pool of crypto, and you know, they run essentially kind of a hackathon kind of idea, which is to say, if you can, you know, hack this model, or you can do prompt injection attacks to have the model, you know, release those crypto, then you get to, you know, win that prize, right? And so the goal of that campaign really is actually to use crypto as an incentivization layer to actually further push safety, like for agents. And I think that's actually one of the very interesting, you know, angles where like crypto actually helps, you know, AI agents and AI agent research to improve.
That's good. I mean, are you investing in AI agents, or is it not investable at the moment?
It's not investable yet.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, if you look 20, 30, 50 years down the pike, I think there'll be a world where you can use AI agents to actually do real-world things. And what I'm most excited about in the future is one day AI agents can interact with the regulatory compliance infrastructure of the world.
Right.
So you can imagine using an AI agent, for example, to execute a roll-up strategy of veterinary labs in New Jersey, right? It can go and create the LLCs, it can go hire the people, and actually execute the deals, or at least help you execute the deals. And that's when the world completely changes. Like, I don't think any of us are prepared for a world that looks like that.
I mean, your VCs, you tend to invest on a 5-year or a 7-year time frame. How does that work out with agents? I mean, when does it become investable like that? Martin?
Yeah, well, we are currently not yet that focused on AI agents itself because we're looking at the infrastructure layer, really. Like infrastructure to us is DeepIn, where networks are being created, identities, and I would say, but there are wild examples, of course. It could be that in the future there are AI agents that train their own models using DeepIn networks in order to source compute and GPUs. So there are wild examples out there, but we are monitoring the space right now. We are not yet going all into AI agents.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we haven't done anything on sort of like what we believe is anywhere close to the future of AI agents. We've done DeepIn, and we're investors in things around HiveMapper and GeoNet and Helium, and we're continuing to look for more on the DeepIn side of things. I think that's an area that we want to push into, and especially in this part of the world, there's a lot of opportunity. Whether it's on the sort of infrastructure side of things, like telecom networks and whatnot. I mean, some of the largest families just have telecom, real estate, all these different things that could be sort of helpful to kind of bootstrap some of these networks. We've done some things around infrastructure for AI. So we have positions in things like virtuals and whatnot. I think the current iteration of infrastructure is going to change quite a bit. So we're excited to sort of see how the tooling for the development of AI agents will sort of move forward. And then we've come across folks that are developing pretty sophisticated models around certain types of platforms like Polymarket and things like that are actually making millions of dollars on these platforms. So I think eventually there could be ways to involve a token, involve sort of user input, involve user governance and things like that. But we haven't seen that transition yet, but we're hopeful.
GM, have you invested in agents yet?
Yeah, I think if you operate in a venture capacity, which you have to underwrite, what could happen, what would happen in 3 to 5 years timeline. Right now, it's pretty difficult to see, or make an investment on, what that landscape would look like. Obviously, if you're running a liquid strategy, which a lot of my panelists here have a much more pronounced liquid operations, I think obviously that's a great sector to be in. But longer term, in terms of venture, we did make very big investments into kind of the infrastructure layer, embedding on the broader trend that as again, models get more commoditized, inference is going to be a huge market, and potentially there are players in crypto that would have a long-term cost advantage and structural advantage over even existing cloud players.
So there are other concerns with AI around data, where it's coming from. Can we trust the kind of the ghost in the machine? And there's this thinking that the blockchains will be verifying what's going on in the world of AI. Do we see that as a kind of investable opportunity from a venture point of view?
Yeah.
Oh, no, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, integrity of data obviously is a big topic of blockchain and has always been. And it has been always around, supply chains effectively, or supply chains are a big topic in crypto and Web3. And supply chains is not just aching to physical products, but obviously also to information. Informations are also goods. This will be a space where we will pay attention to, but right now also not yet really the focus. I'd say I'd be interested when it comes to information, integrity of information, the whole trading side of things. We run, for example, as one of our funds, a fund of hedge funds that invest in quant trading crypto hedge funds. We track well over 700 investable strategies, and I wonder what happens to those fund managers when crypto AI agents will start trading. yeah, we'll see that and how that impacts the industry.
What happens to VCs in a world of AI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I may be out of a job pretty soon. We'll see. But one area that we have invested into on the infrastructure side, as you talk about sort of data integrity and maybe even privacy, is actually privacy technology that will help hopefully AI be used for things around like financial institutions, things around regulation. So we recently closed a deal around a company that is providing infrastructure on fully homomorphic encryption, which is, let's just on a high level say, it's really sophisticated privacy tech that can help encrypted data be used within blockchains and certain transactions. So if guys like JP Morgan and other folks are going to be contributing data and having data sort of go through their system, they're going to want to make sure that both that data and identity and things like that can sort of be private, but yet that data could be used within smart contracts and blockchains to be able to sort of enable really cool use cases.
Ashkat, do you think privacy tech and AI is a investable opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of privacy tech platforms in crypto especially, but I think one of the issues that especially the intersection of DePIN and AI need to solve is as you pointed out, data integrity. You see a lot of major DePIN names, without pointing out specific projects, that have questionable data. You can just kind of look at it and you can see data looks very gamed. And I think DePIN projects need to figure out how to actually generate traction from projects that aren't just trying to game data for like an airdrop, and actually create organic demand. So,
without putting you on the spot, what do you mean by questionable data?
as in, you look at some of the charts, it's like oddly linear, and
Right.
it just looks like it can't be real. And there's a number of very high profile DePIN projects that exhibit this kind of data, and they're kind of like presenting this as though it were real data. And I don't know if they're just unaware, the market's unaware, all the above. But I think we're very early, and that's a problem that has not been solved. And it's not going to be easy to solve.
Okay. So Martin, what else excites you about this interaction between AI and crypto?
Yeah, well, I think it's just really the outlook of the machine-to-machine economy. That's for us the main thing. Like, I think if you think of it, simple examples, like we all know this example about in the future maybe a fridge ordering your milk. Maybe in the future when you integrate this with AI agents, and the fridge will not only realize that the milk is empty, maybe it realizes and looks at other data points and looks at maybe the temperature is hot that day. So, and you have a pattern of drinking a certain juice when the weather is hot, and then it will order not just milk when it's empty, but also order your favorite juice when it's hot outside. But it will not be able to use banking rails for that. It will have to use crypto rails for that. And really, this is so we are most excited about this machine-to-machine economy.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess one other type of AI could be around the entertainment side of things. Again, like we play games, we contribute actions, we contribute data, be able to have AIs end up, making your character more like you, maybe even fighting characters, things like that in gaming. I think that's an area too that is going to take a bit of time on sort of AI, MMORPG kind of stuff, but that's a huge industry, gaming.
Ashkat, how do you see AI changing how we see crypto, interact with crypto in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think I generally broadly agree with you guys that crypto needs AI and vice versa. I don't think AI can interact with the real world without having a stack of blockchain products as a conduit to interact with the world. I foresee in the future, the AI kind of like choosing a stablecoin of choice in the crypto space as a primary means of transacting value, and probably realizing that Bitcoin is the safest place to amass wealth and store value. and the velocity of that will move a lot faster than human beings do. You know, with humans, the transition to crypto takes a generation, 2 generations, maybe 3. With AI, we're looking at like, 5 years whenever it's mature.
I mean, when you talk about like the crypto rails within AI, I mean, are there any particular crypto projects that are well positioned in that respect to be the payment rails for AI? Yeah.
I think broadly, I haven't seen one, let's say, particular, let's say, crypto rail that's extremely well suited for AI in general. But I think, on a very high level, just by the internet native and digital nature of using tokens, custodying private keys, that in of itself like puts crypto in a extremely advantageous position over existing banking rails. And so I think that's great news for the entire space, obviously.
Okay, great. We're going to take some questions from the floor. Can we get the microphone? Where did the microphone go? Okay, let's just take it from the floor. Anyone have a question? Please.
Hi, my name is Igor, Bitcoin Hub. Question about the computer clubs around the world, how to utilize their hardware as a decentralized physical infrastructure for AI.
Anyone?
What do you think about this market?
I'm not sure.
Computer clubs around the world, a lot of them, yeah? People play games there, and a lot of hardware just stay by. If we reuse this as a decentralized infrastructure for AI, it's truly decentralized.
Yeah.
What do you think about it as investors, as a market? Is it cool or is it like a delusion?
Yeah. So we have made, I think in our case, we have made first investments into that area, companies or projects like Akash that are really like providing access to unutilized GPUs. That's something that excites us a lot. So there are obviously, as you say, there is a big capacity of unused GPUs, and projects like Akash are facilitating access to that. And DePIN networks really are, again, like I will keep on coming back to DePIN. I know, Benjamin, you're always so excited about DePIN.
Yeah.
DePIN are the ones to really building that bridge between unused capacity and the need for it. Yeah. So, yeah, we have made first investment.
Yeah.
Have we all made investments in DePIN?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're investors in Akash and, like I mentioned, Hivemapper. And I think what's also really interesting about DePIN now is that the tokens hopefully will have a lot more fundamental value with new regulations in the US. So that's really enhances hopefully the excitement and adoption of more of the hardware around DePIN.
We invested in Aether, which they
Yeah,
were
exactly.
as well. Yeah,
Cool.
same kind of model. I think what we saw them do successfully was they had an anchor tenant, right, like a large client initially, and then they added a long tail after that. So that makes it, I think a successful model.
Hi.
Next question.
One question here.
Oh, he's got a microphone.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hi. So there was a project called Virtuals that was launched on Base. It allows users to launch their own AI agents.
Yeah.
Just wondering if the 4 of you have looked at this and what you think about the potential of this.
I think you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not on the Liquid side. We have a Liquid PM, but we do have a position in Virtuals. And so, some of this is looking at it myself, some of this is just kind of hearsay. But yeah, I mean, infrastructure like that is what we are, looking to invest into probably before AI agents. Similar to, I guess, some folks invest into companies like Pump.Fun. They're allowing folks to, build, meme coins. I mean, these guys are, allowing you to build AI agents. I think there's a long way to go in terms of that sort of tooling. But, liquid investing versus venture investing, you could be a little bit more fluid there. But those are the types of investments that we're looking at.
Can we?
Do you see that AI in combination with crypto creates a new infrastructure canvas like the smartphone created for applications like Uber and Airbnb? And if you see that, what use cases do you think of?
Anyone want to take that?
So the question is what use cases does
Wanna
the
repeat the
intersection?
question?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
So Airbnb and Uber are typical use cases which were not possible before the iPhone and the smartphone. So nobody could think about that. Now I see or think we are seeing a new infrastructure platform with the combination of AI and crypto. Have you thought about that? What kind of use cases we can expect in the future?
Yeah. Okay.
Does this create a new ecosystem, a new platform for development?
Something that crypto enables that maybe would be hard to do without crypto.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing I hinted at earlier, what I'm most excited about is one day being able to execute very complex strategies that you can pull off in private markets in sort of like a public way, in a decentralized way. So I gave you the example of, if you wanted to buy up every major dental lab in Delaware and, like sell that to a larger holding company. That's something that right now you can only do in private equity, right? And you can only do if you have relationships. It takes years to build the track record. You got to raise from LPs. You're looking at a human being's life, right? With AI tools, I think we could pull some shit off like that in that manner in probably like 5 years. So that's the kind of stuff I'm most excited about for AI agents.
All right, next question.
The Web 2 world was driven largely by consumer-facing applications. So if you think about all the early 2000s, 2010s, and even through now, I've not seen too much on the consumer-facing stuff on the Web3 front. Do you think that with AI, we kind of like skipping these consumer-facing applications, and we're not going to see a lot of investment there, or are you seeing some interesting stuff coming up? That are actually going to onboard more users. Because a lot of the stuff that we're seeing here, for example, a lot of it is infrastructure, right? That's a lot of the conversation. But where are the things that are, where consumers are actually going to want to download or want to interact with beyond just DeFi?
Yeah. I mean, media and content is one part that we're seeing right now with crypto agents or like AI agents creating their own, or like running on Twitter accounts, interacting with any human beings and other AI agents. So that's an interesting one. Creating content, creating pictures, and maybe giving trading advice. I mean, I think this is the first kind of taste that we're getting from real-world applications interacting with the ordinary Joe. Down the road, this can go, as Akshat just mentioned, can go as far as replacing private equity or hedge funds who are like running complex trading models could be replaced by AI strategies. Yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that last question, then also answer this question. So I do think, with crypto and especially things like fully homomorphic encryption, being able to sort of pair both, institutional private data with a lot of on-chain data and be able to sort of like run AI on both, I think is pretty compelling. And then in terms of your question, I don't know if it's necessarily an AI question, it's more of just a consumer question. One of our LPs is one of a pretty significant gaming company, and they were making $100 million a year in revenue and was able to 6x that revenue by integrating blockchain to their games. So, as I mentioned beforehand, being able to provide ownership over characters within their game and further incentivizes folks to build that character and then be able to sell it for real money and usually at a premium to what they would normally do if it wasn't sort of on the blockchain, proven ownership, has been one way for them to sort of, increase monetization within gaming. And then, of course, around like ownership of digital items, gaming items, and then be able to have a secondary marketplace to be able to sort of, do those transactions, having the ownership. Both of those things within gaming have increased the revenue. So it's really just like crypto under the hood, really around ownership and really around increased monetization.
we have another question from the audience? Here.
So there's been some mention of spatial computing and robotics. In a 3 to 5 year time horizon, how do you think crypto will have an impact on these areas?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Sure, sorry. There's been mention of spatial computing and robotics on the panel today. In a 3 to 5 year time horizon, how do you think crypto will have an impact on these areas?
Crypto and spatial computing, anyone?
I mean, spatial compute is, it's what brings crypto, AI, and robotics together, right? And it's apt that we're here in the greater Bay Area, close to Shenzhen, where a lot of that activity is happening. And I think we invested in one company called Aoki Labs that's pretty. I think they're on the cutting edge of that intersection there. So I think it's likely from talking to the founder and learning about that space. It's very likely that crypto is going to be the primary rails by which robots interact with the world around them, and I can't really envision a world where there's any other conduit other than crypto to do so.
Is there another question down here, I think? Yeah.
Hi, thank you for the amazing panel discussion. So I would like to ask 2 questions. The first is, in the context of current world, everyone know that AI is a buzzword, it's like super hype everywhere. So I would like to ask, if you have to speculate, would you feel more excited for like the new breakthrough for the technology, or you think that there might be some deepen the current DeepSeek or open AI technology to create more tools around that technology? I hope my question is clear. That's the first question. And then the second question, if you invest a team or like a project, what do you take the most consideration? For example, is it like the next project you would invest, it has to be super strong team or super, great breakthrough of technology, or something like faster development cycle? Like, what would be the thing that you take care the most in the next big project that you invest in this area? So the first is, if you have to speculate, do you think that the current trend is like deepen the technology or something super innovative coming through, like as breakthrough? And the second one is like, what would you look at the most as investors? Yeah, thank you.
I think I'll probably start to answer the second question first, and which is, what do I think is the most important both for investors and for builders? I think we truly are living in an amazing time of just rapid progress, and I think the most important thing, honestly, is to make sure that you're on the right trend line. And what I mean by that is, if you look at, again, what's happening in the AI space, more and increasingly capable models are coming out, on a weekly or even, daily basis nowadays. And these new models are getting much more capable, they're getting much more commoditized, it's getting much cheaper to train them, and the inference cost to run those models and to get AI and just get abundance of intelligence is going down. And if when you see as a builder, right, all of these news come out and your reaction is, this is great because I own my, potentially my end customer relationships and I can just use the commoditized and better models to improve my product, you're in a fantastic spot. Right? But if you're, let's say, potentially going up against the existing labs to train, throwing billions of dollars to train the next model, I think that's going to be a pretty tough spot to be in. And so I think the number one thing is probably just to make sure that you're on the right trend line in terms of AI.
I think I broadly agree. For me, it's TAM, right? The size of the market. You can kill it in a tiny, dying market. That's great for you, but it's not good for investors. But the second thing is the integrity of the founder. I think nothing can replace that. There's not that many guardrails in crypto. There's not that many, honestly, outside of crypto as well. And the founder quality, I think the number one indicator of success is the integrity of the person you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything starts with the team, and then I'm not sure about groundbreaking technology compared to some of the more well-funded folks out there like OpenAI, but I do think that having a team that could provide a user experience and a wrapper around the technology and making it just user friendly, I think is something that's just needed, in any sort of product, especially one that has really strong technology underneath. Is really just kind of keep it very simple and keep it very engaging.
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate, team is incredibly important. So when there's typically often several teams working on the same goal. So when we look back at smart contract protocols, like when the team, we were one of the largest seed investors in Solana at the time. When Raj and Anatoly came to us and pitched us a faster version than Ethereum, we got these pitches every week from people. But Anatoly, really, of all the founders that we have met, we believed had what it takes to build it, because it was at the time before Solana was built. Right, so often, he was running operating systems at Qualcomm, thereafter head of compression at Dropbox. So when you have such founders, it's really betting on the right people, because you invest at a stage before the product exists, right? And that's also the exciting part of being in venture capital, and that's a little bit now, bit of advertising for our industry, to work in our industry. When you work in venture capital, you're always confronted with innovation. And before things exist, right? People come to you, they pitch you what they want to build before it's built. And that's the exciting piece. And that's why team really matters.
So you have to be good at understanding character and personality then, I guess.
Character, track record, technical pedigree. Do they have what it takes to pull off what they're aiming to build? Do they have a track record of being fluffy and doing every 2 years new projects, or are they sticking around? And really, if you have a founder coming to you every 2 years with new ideas, that's happening too. Be careful.
How do you test for character? I'm curious.
Oh, it's a little bit, it's a human judgment, effectively, right? And a little bit of background research. You can do it. You can look at their CVs and look at how are they sticking with their projects. You can do background checks. You can speak with people that are connected with them. It really is this element of background checks and human judgment. Yeah. How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
Still trying to figure that out. Yeah. I think sometimes I see how they react to other people doing bad things.
Yeah.
If they demonstrate some indignation and you feel like it's authentic, then that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell. You never really know.
That's the challenge, yeah.
All right, we've got to wrap it up there. So Ashkat, GM, Paul, Martin, thank you so much. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.